Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more.
Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more.
Hey guys, I'm Alastair from Trail and Kale, and this is my Merrell Agility Peak 5 review. That's these shoes here. I think you'll probably agree with me, they look really nice. Really love the colorway that I've got on these ones. You kind of got the hot pink on one side and then a hot orange on the other side. And the geometry and silhouette of these trail running shoes just looks really sleek and fast to me. So I really love how they look on my feet. I've got about 10 more kilometers on this test route, which I'm going to absolutely thrash them on. I've got a really big climb coming up, which you can just see here. Just goes on and on for about 300 meters of ascent. There's quite a lot of technical terrain as well. Got wet rocks, lots of dry leaves, loose dirt, roots, hard packed stuff. All kinds of terrain to test these shoes on, and that's why I absolutely love doing this trail route for testing anyway. So I'm going to take you along with me on this run just to show you what I put them through and give you my thoughts and opinions as they come to me. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoy the journey and the adventure of the Agility Peak 5. And yeah, I really want you to engage with this video, so definitely please give it a like first. Drop a comment down in the comments. Let me know you're watching, let me know if you've got any questions on the shoes, or share your own opinions if you run in the Agility Peak 5 as well. So who are the Agility Peak 5 trail running shoes for? Well, they are very much a daily trainer. So if you just want one trail running shoe for your training runs, where you can run on some really technical terrain and just have a good time with a nice cushioned yet responsive trail running shoe, then that's what the Agility Peak 5 shoes are for. I mean, they're only $140 as well. I'm going to go over some of the key features that are really important that you should know about as well in just a moment. But for $140, that puts them in the ballpark of the Brooks Cascadia 17, which I recently reviewed. Another awesome trail running shoe for $140, which is just insane. For that price you get so much, and I feel like already you're getting a similar shoe with the Agility Peak 5. Tons of features in here. It's a daily trainer for technical terrain, any kind of distance that you want to run in as well. So very versatile, do-it-all trail running shoe. They're also really good as an all-terrain shoe, so I've just been running on some concrete asphalt type surfaces on my way to the trails. As you saw in the videos just shortly before, they perform really well on there, nice and cushioned and good bit of response as well. Let's start by going over the key features of the Merrell Agility Peak 5 then. So I said before, they're $140. That's a bargain for a running shoe like this. They feel really good out the box, but one thing I will say is they do come up a little bit long. So I do recommend going down a half size. You'll get a much better fit in the length. And the lacing system is really good. It will cinch around your feet and give a nice snug fit there. More on the fit and feel, then there is a bit of arch support in there. So this is quite unusual to me from a lot of running shoes, trail or in the road category that I've been reviewing lately. There's generally not any additional arch support, but I'm feeling it in the Agility Peak 5. So if you do have flat arches, you will definitely feel the arch support in these shoes, so you might want to swap out the insole there. I have average feet and I do feel it. It's not a problem. But I do definitely feel it, whereas, like I said, I don't feel it on a lot of other shoes right now. So, thought I should mention that. And then the other thing on the fit, you probably will notice around here on the shoes, around the front of your foot and the collar around here, there is a little bit of slip. The heel is not really well locked into the shoe, which is unfortunate. I have opted for the Racer's Loop heel lock method to really tighten in my heel into the shoe, and that's done a really good job. There is still a little bit of slip there, but it's so much better than how the lacing setup was out of the box. So if you're not familiar with Racer's Loop and you do get some issues with heels slipping out of running shoes, then definitely go watch that video next. That will teach you how to do the racer's loop setup. Super easy and so worth it. Quickly on the upper then, it is a breathable mesh. Not a huge amount to say about it, but it is certainly breathable. Seems very durable as well. And you will notice there is a gaiter loop attachment and one at the rear. It's kind of a bit of Velcro here, which is nice. That's also very similar to the Brooks Cascadia 17 as well. It's got a similar setup for a gaiter. If you're not familiar with gaiters, they are basically a piece of material that you can buy separately. Wraps around the collar and the heel counter and the front of the tongue as well. And it kind of just sits over the top of the shoe like so. And that stops any debris and dirt from going into the shoes. The midsole has Float Pro, and that's what Merrell is calling this particular foam here. You know what, that feels really good. It's really nice and cushioned, but it's also very responsive. It's got that really good balance somewhere in between, which is really nice for an all-terrain trail running shoe. But there are also these flex grooves in the midsole, and that allows for the shoes to flex forward, front to back, but also in the lateral. So it gives you extra control when you're running over technical terrain. Outsole then, well, it's Vibram's Mega Grip. It's best in class right now. Tons of running shoe brands are actually taking up this outsole. They've done away with their own proprietary rubbers and compounds, and are just going with Vibram because it's the best right now. You can't beat it. The traction is epic. These ones actually have traction lug, which should help them climb as well. And all that is the placement and the shape of the lugs on the bottom. And these ones in particular are 5mm deep. So I expect them to claw into the trails and help me climb. But I will let you know very shortly how they do. And they've got a 6mm drop from heel to toe. And then finally they weigh 10.2 ounces. Alright, it's time to hone in with what makes these trail running shoes awesome. But also some areas where it's not performing quite as well as I'd hoped. I've done about 200 meters of ascent and also quite a lot of flat sections, so I've been able to open up the legs and run really fast just to see how responsive the midsole is and how fast they are. See if that rock plate helps as well. Well, let me tell you, they are awesome. They are super quick. They just feel really light on your feet. They're very propulsive and just tons of energy return. In terms of climbing, however, the Mega Grip outsole is awesome. I mean, that's doing exactly what I'd expect it to do. Clawing in with those 5mm traction lugs and making climb a breeze. But that climb could be so much easier. And the reason it's not is the upper here. So this shape here, it kind of curves off a little bit. Whereas most uppers would go up here and create more of a secure fit around the front of your shin and around your ankles. I did mention this before, that you do have to do a racer's loop to get more of a heel lock, but it's still not locked in as much as I'd like it to be. So as I'm climbing up some steep terrain, my heel is slipping a bit. It's just not secure as I would expect, unfortunately, and I have tested Agility Peaks in the past and they were the same. That's not to take away from the overall greatness of this shoe, because for $140 they're insanely good. And I referenced the Brooks Cascadia 17 a few times, and that's because that's also $140 and they feel really similar. So I feel like they're going after each other a little bit there. Definitely feel like they're competitors, and I feel I should do a versus post just to compare those two shoes because they already feel very similar. Overall, I'm absolutely loving these shoes, climbing pretty well apart from that little bit of heel lock issue that I mentioned, and also really fast on flat sections and gradients going downhill. Now, I haven't tested them on super steep downhills yet. I'll get to that on my way back because I'm doing an out and back. So I'm going to have plenty of opportunity to push myself on these downhills, and I feel like they're going to be really good. I don't feel like that heel lock is as much of an issue on the downhills, but I could be wrong there. Generally, it's not quite as important. if you're enjoying this Merrell Agility Peak 5 review, please give it a like. I really love it when you guys do that. It really helps our channel out as well. And subscribe to our channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified of new videos as and when they drop.
They broke the mold. Give you some more. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more.
A couple of other cool features with the upper then is this little elasticated section here, which is great for storing your laces in when they're done up. Also at the rear of the shoe, this heel loop is actually quite new, quite novel to me. A nice stretchy loop that you can pull on to slide the shoes on, makes it nice and easy. Really like that.
Broke the mold.
Let me just get my breath back. Wow, I really threw myself down that hill. And I can say the Agility Peak 5 handled that steep downhill really damn well. Actually a lot more than I was expecting because of the heel slip issue that I was mentioning before. But I did have suspicion that that was only going to be a little issue on the uphills. So anyway, heel lock on downhills and flats feels really good. Control is excellent. The midsole foam feels really cushioned but also responsive. So I feel like I can push really hard on flats and downhills and feel like I still got control because of that nice responsive foam, but also the traction lug mega grip from Vibram is a wonderful combo. Traction is just epic, on point, you can't really beat it. So absolutely loving the outsole, and how these shoes perform on the downhill is a lot of fun too. So to recap the Agility Peak 5 review then, they are really a daily trail runner for anyone who needs a trail running shoe that's not too expensive but can handle most terrains, all terrains in fact, handles asphalt and concrete really well, handles the uphill all right. Like I said before, that heel slip is the only real downside of this $140 trail running shoe, so that's really not that bad. The rest of the shoe is awesome, performs brilliantly on the flats. It's very fast, very easy to open up your stride and run fast in them, which also makes them a really good racing shoe as well. So I would recommend them for anything up to a 50-kilometer race. They feel great. Now, they're not the lightest trail running shoe by any means, but with that little bit of extra weight, you get durability and you get a pretty stable running shoe. And it just feels like I've got great control with them. So yeah, I would recommend racing in these shoes as well. The control's a lot of fun. That midsole is bouncy and fun as well. So are they worth $140? Hell yes. $140 is an absolute steal for the Agility Peak 5. For $140, there are many shoes out there which are a lot more expensive and are half as good. So yeah, I can't recommend these ones enough. They're a lot of fun. I'm hanging on to my pair. I love how they look, how they perform. Go buy it if you love a look at them. Well, thanks for watching this Agility Peak 5 review. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. Peace.
Damn, look at that, they broke the